We are the Two Mikes. You can follow us on Twitter at the Two Mikes. You can find Mike Parry at Mike Parry8, and you can follow me at IROMG. Of course, it's that time of the show when Mr. Parry tells us all about the big shows that he's been watching this week, and hopefully gives us a little bit of a précis of all the soaps and all the other bits and pieces that you've been watching. So, what have you been watching this week?
Scott and Bailey.
Scott and Bailey. You keep going on about this. I actually saw a trailer for it. I saw a trailer for it for the first time.
What a programme. Utterly fantastic.
Is it?
Now, there's a huge controversy now building up around this programme, OK? Scott and Bailey, basically, Saran Jones, who's one of the detectives.
Yes.
And the other girl with her, you know, the blonde hair. And
who's that then?
What?
Who's that then? You're not going to. I mean, you're supposed to research this whole thing. You're supposed to know what you're talking about.
No, I don't want to blind the audience with a load of names. I'm just telling you, you know. Now, they are, of course, Scott and Bailey in fiction terms, you know. And they go around solving all these crimes. But the interesting thing about it is, Saran Jones has got a terrible background, you know. And
well, she's a police officer.
She's a police officer, but she had a terrible upbringing. She battered her way out of a sort of very, difficult upbringing. Her mother was a wreck and all this. And during the course of the latest investigation, which is a horrible one about slavery, you know, keeping slave workers in the shed at the bottom of the farm and all that kind of stuff, you know, her mother dies and she goes to the funeral reluctantly.
Yeah.
But then, just before, as the hearse is queuing up at the crematorium, like hearses do. Have you ever been to a funeral at a crematorium?
Yeah, of course I have.
Have you seen the way the hearses queue up down the road outside? Unbelievable.
I'm surprised you can watch it, given your sort of dread of crematoriums and hearses.
Well,
and all that sort of thing.
I tell you what, I didn't like it. It's very undignified. But what happened was, our mutual pal Gordon Ducker died, right?
Yeah.
You know, Gordon sadly died of stomach cancer a few years back. Yeah, lovely man. Great guy, and I'm very, very sorry to lose him as a friend, you know, so early in life, really. And it was in Cambridge. I went over to Cambridge, and this is where I first noticed, by the way, that funeral directors are becoming like, you know, glamorous young women, believe it or not. It was unbelievable. Because as the hearses sort of come into the crematorium driveway and are queued down the road, somebody has to stand in front of them. I don't know why. It's part of the tradition,
you
know.
The pallbearer.
Pallbearer, that's right, yeah. And a lot of them were young women who looked, you know, amazingly elegant in...
Well, no reason why not, I suppose. You don't always have to have like a grim-faced old guy, do you?
In black top hats and very elegant sort of, pencil-type black skirts and black tights and black high-heeled shoes and all that kind of stuff. So, obviously, they've got to wear black because they're in mourning.
Yes. But
it made them look very elegant, I thought. Very elegant indeed. Anyway, point of the story is, Saran Jones is at her mother's funeral. All this is going on. She gets a call, big breakthrough in the case. She just says to her sister, look, you'll have to look after this. I've got to go. So she just leaves. While the hearse is parked there with the back door of the hearse open, ready for the...
and her mother's in there?
Yeah, mother's in there, and the guys are just coming out to carry the coffin into the crematorium.
So she leaves her own mother's funeral?
Leaves her own mother's funeral.
That seems a bit harsh, isn't it?
Well, until you understand the background, her mother was a terrible old dipso.
And is it one of those shows you can watch, like one, it doesn't have a recurring theme or something that you... Because I find, because it's very difficult, unless you're going to be able to watch it, sort of, you know, having pre-recorded the whole series or something.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm organised. I'm organised.
Well, you may be organised, but I mean, in the end, you know, I don't always have time to watch it when it's on. Yeah. So I don't want to lock myself into something that I have to wait until the next week to find out what happens.
Anyway, she goes off, be a big breakthrough in the case, solves the case and all that. But I read a couple of reviews from women reviewers who are uneasy about the fact that the top 4 people in Scott and Bailey are women police officers.
Right.
So there's like a superintendent, a chief inspector, and then Saran Jones is now a sergeant, and her mate who's a constable.
So why are they upset with that? Why wouldn't they be happy about that?
No, because... all the men are made to look like bungling fools inside this police station, literally.
Right.
Now, it's something that hadn't occurred to me until I read the review.
It may not be that far from the truth, of course.
I read the review, and then I realised that's exactly what's going on. And all the blokes are all just detective constables. They're made out to look like...
So is it a touch of over kind of PC-ness, do you think?
Well,
to make them all women?
I don't see any PC-ness in it, really, but clearly the woman who's written it... You know, there's a woman called Kay somebody or other who writes a lot of this sort of stuff, and...
I don't know.
There was a great one called Happy Valley, play which starred the girl who used to be Raquel in Coronation Street, Lancaster, Sarah Lancaster.
Sarah Lancaster, yeah.
Sarah Lancaster.
Yeah, I've heard of her.
And that was written by a woman dramatist. This one's written by a woman dramatist. In fact, I think the woman who writes this one also stars in it. I think she's the inspector and all this kind of stuff. So what I'm saying is, girl power is very, very big in these things, particularly because, of course, Sarah Lancaster was a female cop who did extremely well. And there is
Is there any car chases in it? All that kind of, macho
well,
type
funny enough, part of
chasing down bad guys and all that.
Well, funny enough, very realistically, part of the plot here is because a lot of it's sort of based in Lancashire, and a lot of it goes out into the country, sort of Saddleworth Moor, Oldham, and all that kind of stuff. And they chase a guy who does a runner from one of the farms that they visited when they're on the trail of these slaves being kept, And in his attempt to escape, and he's clearly intoxicated when he makes a run for it, his car hits a wall, turns over, bang, he's dead. Massive investigation as to why the cops chased him. You see what I mean?
Right.
Because they're...
Which is what happens in real life now,
Of course it does, yeah. But anyway, it finished last night, and it's brilliant
So
series.
the whole thing's over now?
Well, it was... You just said, did you have to follow the whole lot?
Yeah. But is the series over, is what you're saying?
The series over, but the first 4, were individuals, and then they made the last 2 a double header, you see what I mean? To make it...
So it was a bit of a cliffhanger at the end, or not?
A bit of a cliffhanger.
So there'll be a new series, presumably?
Well, I hope so. But anyway, look...
So what else did you watch? Because we haven't got that much time. You've only told us about one show.
Grantchester.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Grantchester is about... It's a strange one about Jerome... what's his name?
Jerome?
The guy from Soldier and all that.
I know who you mean.
He does all these, Northumberland programmes now, and, I'm the professional Geordie and all that kind of stuff. Being a bit unkind, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's his name? Jerome Robson. And he's funny enough, they call him Geordie.
The Robson Green thing.
Robson Green, that's him, not Jerome Robson, Robson Green. And he's working in...
Who's Jerome Robson?
I don't know, actually, but I thought that was his name. But he's working in a police force which is 1,000,000 miles away from Northumberland and Geordieland. So he's known as Geordie because he's the only one who speaks with a Geordie accent, right?
Okay.
And he's teamed up with a local vicar who helps him solve crimes. And it's a bit of an unlikely plot, to be honest.
Sounds a bit unusual.
It is a bit unlikely, but the vicar is very bright, and Robson Green is portrayed as a bit of a dim copper who can't see the obvious, whereas the vicar can.
Right.
And because the vicar is a trusted
And who
man...
plays the vicar, then, do you know?
Some guy with red hair.
Right.
And
it's like no other TV review this at all, isn't it? Some guy with red hair.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Maybe it's Jerome Robson.
No, he's not, no, but he's pretty good. And so the vicar, because he can get inside the head of the local community, he's a trusted man and all that, he can go around asking questions which Robson Green, Geordie, can't. And but it's a bit of an unlikely one. They get together in the pub and swig a few pints. The vicar seems to be perpetually on the drink, you know what I mean, and enjoying himself in drink. It's set in the early 50s, okay? So he's riding around on a bike and there's loads of sort of Morris Oxford cars driving around and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
So it's set in the sort of the 60s or something, is it?
It's set in the early 50s. I just told you that.
Did you?
Are you not listening?
No, I'm trying to find it on here.
You're always accusing me of not listening.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it on here.
I just told you it's in the early 50s, okay? And it's quite appealing, except that I find that the plot every week is about the same.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't like the sound of it.
Geordie the copper, foxed by this complicated inquiry, and has gone for that was suicide when in fact it was murder. Right. Oh, that was, manslaughter when it was murder, or something like that. You know what I mean? Oh, that wasn't really a theft, it was somebody who lost a ring. In fact, it's been stolen and all that kind of stuff. So he's made out to be the dimwit copper, helped along by the
drunken vicar.
Well, no, he's not really a drunken vicar. He can take his drink, but he drinks a lot. But the background to the vicar is that when he went and took his vows, he had to leave the girl behind that he loved, but she keeps coming back to this rural parish that he works in, and basically, is asking for a bit of action. But of course, him being a vicar, he's got to be very careful.
Be careful, man of the cloth.
Yeah, because she's gone off and married somebody else anyway, so you've got to be very careful about all that sort of thing.
Very tricky.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's a very,
so there you go.
That's my
complicated plot.
So
my TV review for this